scrumptious souvlaki, one of our favorite places ever.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
It is good stuff. I think we ate more when we lived there. Like we probably put the owner's kid through college at a minimum.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that.
One of the things that I really miss about being here in Austin is that there is no good Greek food. Like we can't find. Funny story. So when we first got here, I was like, I want some Greek food. So we looked on Yelp and there were 3 restaurants within like a 25-mile radius. So we picked the best one with the most stars or best Yelp review. Of course, it was the one furthest out. So we get in the truck and we make a little adventure to go get some Greek food. When I say this Greek food was bad, like it was so bad. Have you ever just laughed because it's like what am I going to
What?
For those who don't know, like our mom married George. George had a restaurant. Denise and I both worked at that restaurant for several years, doing everything that you could basically do from opening to closing. And so when somebody leaves and most of their food is still on the table and they're like, check please, you know that there's probably an issue. Like it was so bad. You know the saganaki, the flaming cheese?
Oh yeah.
So usually when you have that, like they come out to the table and they've got it, and they set it on fire because they've got it in brandy. It's a specific kind of cheese that they use. They soaked it in brandy. They set it on fire. Everybody yells "Opa." They take the lemon, they squeeze it to put the flames out, and they put it on the table. Enjoy.
Right.
This restaurant, they set the cheese on fire and put it on the table, burning, with the lemon still burning. Like, we looked at each other and we both busted out laughing. The waitress turned around and she was like, is something wrong? I'm like, well, usually the flame's out by the time it hits the table and you put it out with the lemon, but your lemon's on fire. She's like, oh, we just let it burn out. Okay. Then we got a platter that had.
They showed you how to do it.
Yeah, step aside, son. Then we got like a little platter, like a smattering sample of everything. It was so bad. And I have really struggled to find these, like I cannot find good Greek food here in Texas. So every time I go to Florida, even with moms, it's a 2-hour ride. We still go to Tarpon Springs. Now, for those of you who don't know, Tarpon Springs is on the Gulf Coast of Florida, just north of Clearwater Beach. And it is a little Greek community. They have their own mayor, their own police department. Like it's like you picked up a little town in Santorini or Mykonos or Crete and just dropped it right there on the Gulf of Florida.
Right.
And it's so good. And they have the sponge docks and you can walk around and they do all kinds of stuff with the food. Just the food is so good. One of the things that is my favorite, probably one of the first things George ever taught me how to make is Spanakopita. But George, being a true Greek, like he did like the actual triangles, the large triangles. I do it in a pan, basically the same thing, only it's not as much work and effort. And I started doing that because the kids were little, so you have to, make a lot, make something that's easy to make. Yeah. So I'm making Spanakopita tonight with George's base recipe and throwing in some little things that I've kind of curated over the years. One of the things that I've never put in it, but I have here, and I was thinking, and I'm going to ask you, Sissy, like we used to do when we lived together. I make a Spanakopita. I've never put in dill, but some people do and some restaurants do. What are your thoughts? Should I try with some dill tonight?
I think so.
Yeah? How much do you, I don't want it too strong because I'm not a big dill person. Maybe a tablespoon?
Depends on how much you're making, maybe a tablespoon. Taste, I don't know, it's hard because a lot of dill.
It'll overpower it.
No, you can use a lot of dill and it doesn't have a huge impact. You know what I'm saying? Like the dish I made, the capito, that had dill all over it, like cover it with dill. And it was not a big impact. So I'd say cover the top of the mixture with the dill and stir it in.
I'll probably find a happy medium in that and my thought, but I will put some dill in my spanakopita tonight.
All right.
And then I'm gonna accompany that with a beautiful Horiatiki salad, which is a true Greek salad, and a special. I'm going to dress it with a special dressing that I'm going to make.
Oh, okay then. Well, I must admit I had to get a bit of a head start on this because mine is intensive and a lot of parts to it. So I've got most of the basic parts done and I'm still working on the sauce. I'm making shrimp Giouvetsi.
Ooh, shrimp Giouvetsi.
It was probably the 90s, George and Mom took me to this little place in Baltimore, and it's a baked shrimp dish with a little bit of the ouzo pasta, but it has all the yummy flavors. It's so delicious. So that's what I'm working on.
I'm very excited about this night. I'm very excited about eating this when we're all said and done. And I'm letting people know now the beginning is a little bit longer because the end, I'm all about eating this.
Heck yeah. Get on it.
It is Greek night on Dishing with Sissy, and to be truly honest with everybody, I can't believe it's taking us this many episodes to get to this night. I'm so excited. As I stated, I'm making Spanakopita, which is a cheese and spinach pie, and a true Greek salad, which is called a Horiatiki salad. With a very nice, very simple olive oil and a little mixture of a dressing that I'm going to make for it. To start it off, I need to wilt about a pound of fresh baby spinach. I've got my pan over here heating up. Just going to fill it with a little bit of water. And drop 1 pound of spinach in here. Now, it's going to look like a lot, but if you're familiar with cooking with spinach, this is going to really cook down into a very small amount. Okay, while that wilts, and before I get started on the Spanakopita, I've actually got 4 Roma tomatoes. I'm going to cut these and let them sit in a colander with some salt on them while I'm preparing everything else. That's going to draw out a lot of the moisture, a lot of the water, and bring out some more flavor of these tomatoes for our salad. Horiatiki salad is a very rustic, very chunky salad. It's beautiful, it's simple, and I'm just basically going to cut these in half. And then I'm going to cut them 3 times so you get like a big chunk like this. Very easy. As with any salad, you want to make sure that you pick out the freshest, the best produce that you have available to you. And the regular tomatoes didn't look great. These Roma tomatoes look and smell awesome. They're perfectly ripe, and they were really calling out for the salad. We've got them in our strainer. I'm going to add just a little bit of sea salt over them. And then I'm just going to let them sit over here in the sink for 30, 40 minutes or so, or until I'm finished with everything else. To do it in the beginning, they're ready by the time you're ready to start putting everything together.
Hey, welcome to Dishing with Sissy. Tonight I'm making a Greek dish called Shrimp Giouvetsi. This is inspired from a dish that I had in Baltimore many years ago, so I'm working off memory here. And I'm also, of course, adding my own spin for the parts of the Greek cuisine that I really enjoy. So I'm going to start off by, I've got some frozen shrimp here. These are jumbo shrimp. I put them in the bottom of this large pan. I'm going to put some salt in there, and I'm just going to cover them with water and let them steam until they are just done. And I'm going to save the water. Don't throw it away.
So I have the shrimp shells in here simmering. I'm just going to let them go for a little while until I get everything else prepared. I'm going to strained the shells so that I just have the broth, shrimp broth, yummy shrimp broth.
That looks perfectly done. Let's turn this off. Now I have some paper towels over here. I'm just going to sit on the paper towel and then drain it, squeeze it. And when I'm done, I'm going to squeeze it some more. Make sure I get all of that water out of there.
So I've got this pot here. I'm going to put some butter in here. Probably a good couple of tablespoons of butter. I have 1 whole green bell pepper and half of a large onion that I already chopped up. I got the peppers and onions cooked down. I'm going to go ahead and add a can of crushed tomatoes. I'm going to scoop up a little bit of that shrimp water, get all the tomato juice out of there. I'm going to dump that in there, probably like 1/4 of a cup. I'm putting in a good tablespoon of the Greek seasoning. And I'm also putting in a secret ingredient that I didn't know that the Greeks put in. I don't know if all Greeks do. Okay, I'm just saying. I did ask, and there was an ingredient in the sauce that was different, and it's cinnamon. So I'm just going to put in about 1/4 of a teaspoon of, I got a 1/4 of a teaspoon here of cinnamon, a heaping 1/4 of a teaspoon. So that gives it a really unique flavor. So I'm going to let this simmer a little bit.
We're going to let that sit. Let's get to making our spanakopita. Basically, again, cottage cheese, feta cheese, eggs, butter, spinach. We're going to add a little bit of dill and, of course, some salt and pepper to taste. We're going to start with 24 ounces of a big boy of cottage cheese. I use the large curd because I like the way that it cooks up a little bit better. I have a whole 12 ounces of feta cheese, and I do like feta cheese. I'm using the entire container. I have 6 eggs that have been standing at room temperature. We're going to add those in. Some melted butter. Now I'm going to save about half of this for the phyllo dough. 2 sticks of butter total. So we've got 1 that's going in the mix and 1 that we're going to reserve to brush onto our phyllo dough. A little bit of dill. I'm eyeballing this, y'all see. I got nobody to blame but myself. That looks good. We've got some coarse sea salt, some white pepper, about a tablespoon. Make sure mix up prior to putting in your spinach. You want that spinach to cool down a little bit because you don't want it basically to cook your eggs. You don't want it to start scrambling your eggs in your mix. So let some of the heat come off of that spinach while you're cooking, mixing up everything else. I'm gonna add just a little bit more dill. Okay, that's enough. And I'm gonna start adding in my spinach. Again, you just basically wanna kind of fluff it up a little bit before it actually goes into the mix. There is our Spanakopita mixture.
Okay, so put in about 3 cups of the shrimp broth, and it's been cooking down, and it hasn't gotten quite thick. There's quite a bit of it's very liquidy. So what I'm going to do is add a little bit of tomato paste. This is how I cook. Nothing's set in stone. So I'm going to add probably 3 tablespoons of tomato paste and let it cook and let it just thicken up just a little bit. And then we're going to add the pasta, the ouzo, the shrimp, some feta cheese, and some Kalamata olives, which I love. A lot of people don't like the black olives, but these are It's going to have a delicious flavor. I'm super excited to get this one done and to taste it. So
okay, we've gone side to side with the phyllo dough, and it's really easy. Again, what you want to do is you want to make sure, the trick to it is to keep your phyllo dough nice and moist. So I have a paper towel here on the phyllo dough. As I'm taking it out and using it, I'm covering the rest up. I'm going just side to side in an 8x8 pan. It actually works really well. You put half in, the other half hangs over. When we're done, we'll just cover each of them up. As you can see, it's very thin and it kind of has a tendency to stick together, but that's okay because it's going to be perfect in the pan and it's all going to taste the same. And this is why we keep a couple of the sheets reserved for the top so we can make it look pretty when you're serving it. So I've got all of the sheets down that I'm going to use. It's time to put the mixture into the center. Right on, right on. Now we're just going to start flipping these layers back over. Again, remember, brush each one of them with butter every time you put one over, and until we get to the end, and then we'll put the other ones on the top that I've reserved to make it look really pretty. All right, let's put this one over because it's kind of broken a little bit. But again, as it bakes, that phyllo dough is going to bake up all nice and beautiful. Each layer flaky and golden. And that's because you brushed each layer, each one, with some beautiful melted butter. This is not for the weak, y'all. I'm gonna add a couple of these on. Here is our finished pan of Spanakopita. Before we put it in our 350 oven for about 45 to 50 minutes, we're gonna score it. And scoring it allows it to cook up. It gets those layers all brown and flaky. The Spanakopita cooks up and it makes it beautiful. So in this pan, now you can go squares, or I'm just gonna go, and again, we're scoring it, so we're not putting the knife all the way through, which is why I have a small knife. And you're just gonna kind of cut down to the thickness to the first couple here. All right. There we go. I'm going to put this in the oven for about, again, I'll check it in about 45 minutes, but in the meantime, I'm gonna start putting together that delicious, rustic, gorgeous Horiatiki salad.
I have in the bowl here the shrimp and the orzo pasta. I'm going to, I've got a package of feta cheese. It's a whole package, 8-ounce chunk of feta cheese. I'm going to sprinkle in, I think I'm going to take like half of this chunk, and it just crumbles up. I'm just going to crumble it all in here. This is, oh, I'm so excited about this. I'm going to just put in quite a few of these Kalamata olives. This sauce in. It is still very liquidy. It's not super thick, which I believe it's supposed to be that way, because you're just, it's like I said, it's basically about the shrimp baked in this sauce. The orzo pasta is just an addition to it, along with the other elements. I'm going to go ahead and pour this in here. It's a good amount, so I'm going to just pour until I think it's enough. Probably just to, oh, I'm going to just use the whole thing. Oh dear. Oh my gosh, it smells amazing. So you've got the green peppers, the onions, the orzo pasta, the shrimp, the seasonings, the olives. It smells so good. I have the oven preheating. The oven is preheating at 400. This looks super delicious. What I'm going to do is sprinkle some more of the feta cheese on top. I love feta. If you don't like feta, oh no, I'm just going to put some big chunks on here. The rest of the container of feta cheese. So all in all, it's 4 ounces of feta cheese with the shrimp and the pasta. This is going to bake in the oven at 400 for like 30 minutes.
Spanakopita is in the oven. Time to make the Horiatiki salad. Horiatiki salad is a classic Greek salad. It's luscious ripe tomatoes, onion, peppers, olives. I put pepperoncinis in mine. Of course, you have to have feta and some spices. And in America, it is often served with like a thick, almost like Italian style dressing, but really it's just a simple olive oil and some herbs, like oregano and parsley, some salt and pepper, and I've got a little secret that I'm gonna put in mine. So let's start putting this together. As a reminder, I cut up the tomatoes at the beginning of this segment, and they've been sitting over here in a strainer with some coarse sea salt over top of them, and that water is just draining out of them, so it's not gonna make our salad all watery. That's gonna come out. That salt is also gonna give them some added flavor. So let's start with a cucumber. I happen to prefer an English cucumber. They're a little bit smaller. I think that they're more flavorful than regular cucumbers, but that could just be whatever area that you're in, but personal preference. I think the skin's also a little bit smoother on the English cucumber. It's not as thick as the regular cucumber. We're also going to do a bell pepper. Of course, you can use green. That's what most people use. I'm going to add a little color to mine tonight. I have this beautiful orange pepper staring me down at the produce section, so I was like, that needs to go in my salad. So just maybe 1/2-inch slices all the way around. We're going to add in the tomatoes that have been sitting over here. Just gently toss them in. I don't want to just dump them in because they've got seeds and stuff at the bottom here, so you don't want that in your salad. This little dressing that I'm about to make, I feel y'all are going to be strongly about. You're going to have strong feelings about this. You're either going to love it or you're going to hate it, because it has one of those tastes, one of those flavors that people seem to either or absolutely adore. I happen to absolutely adore anise, or sometimes it's pronounced anise, and that is the flavor of ouzo, a Greek liqueur that I've had so much fun with in the days. So I'm going to make a little dressing with this. And my dressing is going to be about 2 tablespoons of ouzo. Opa. And one for me later. I'm going to add just a little bit of lemon juice, which I already have over here. I'm going to toss in a pinch of sea salt. Parsley. I've also got some Greek oregano, and 1/2 teaspoon of white pepper. And then I'm just going to kind of whisk all this together. Drizzle this over. And then I'm also going to put on about 1/4 cup of good olive oil. Y'all want to use good, fresh olive oil for this. Just a gentle toss. So fresh, so delicious. Looks really good. The colors are really pretty. I'm going to put this in the refrigerator until I'm ready to plate it. Would y'all look at this? Let me be honest with y'all. This is one of those meals that when it comes out, it just makes you happy. Like you just want to like dance around the kitchen, like put some music on, finish putting the salad together, and anticipate just diving into this pan of spanakopita. If I was serving this at a family dinner, I'd probably just put this on a big, beautiful platter, just dump it, and then add the other things to kind of top it off, and do it in a platter, and let people kind of pick and make their own. But since it's just me, I'm gonna go ahead and plate my own individual salad. Add just a couple of these beautiful Greek pepperoncinis. I have some black olives. Now these olives have not been prepared and packaged in a brine. They were packaged in olive oil with some spices. So they're not really salty. They're actually very, very flavorful. I'm gonna take a little bit of this feta cheese. I'm just gonna slice it, lay it over top. A bit more of the oregano, just a little drizzle more of olive oil over the top. And there's your classic Horiatiki salad. It pairs so well with the Spanakopita.
Right there.
This is one of those meals that like the whole time you're making it and cooking it, it's just like you're feeling good. It's like you're singing, you're dancing. There's a song in your heart because you're thinking, I'm gonna eat me some good food when it's over with.
Indeed. Oh yeah.
Well, let's get at it. That Shrimp Giouvetsi looks friggin' amazing. Like I can almost taste that. That looks amazing. So tell me about it.
I'm not gonna lie, it did not come out the way I was expecting. It's a little more liquidy than or saucy than I expected. I was hoping it would be a little more thicker, but let me tell you, it's good.
I'm sure it is.
Really good.
It really looks fantastic. And I wish I was next to you with a fork ready to dig into that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. What you got? I know what you got there.
I got some Spanakopita and a wonderful Horiatiki salad. I did an individual one. Me, I didn't want to do a big one. I am so delighted to try this dish tonight.
Oh heck yeah.
Have you gotten into yours yet?
I'm about to. I'm about to scoop some out. Like I said,
the layers of phyllo dough.
Yeah.
That crunch. I love this. This makes my heart happy too. Look at this. All flaky and delicious.
Yeah. I need to make that. And I was hoping for more of a baked, thicker sauce, but this is delicious. It has all the flavors that I was hoping for.
Awesome. Yeah, sometimes look, it might not be perfect. It might not be like it has on the picture in the recipe book or when you watch it on whatever food cooking show you're watching. But if the flavor's there, it don't gotta be pretty.
Exactly. So it's delicious. I got big shrimps in there. I got the orzo pasta, some the Greek olives.
When you make recipes and stuff like this, like for me, it always brings back memories. So of course, learning about Greek food and how to cook Greek food, I can't cook it, think about recipes without thinking of George. Like he introduced me to Greek food, and he was, he was just a really good cook. And every time I make it, I think of him, and it just makes my heart smile. It just makes me feel like a little bit close to him. So I poured a little bit of ouzo for myself to enjoy while I'm having my dinner tonight, and I'll drink a toast to Georgie. Calinita, Georgie.
Horiatiki Georgie.